what do you think about the term Textese in general? It's sort of interesting. It sort of posits it as a language, but it's actually more than that because it's sort of universal in some ways. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that it's healthy to have a label for texting, even if I think we know intellectually that it varies, that it's constantly changing. Someone did a TED Talk about texting about 3 years ago. I forget his name. Texting has changed a lot since then, frankly. But people need to realize that it's not just using language wrong, because many people are under the sincere impression that if you're not writing in the style of the Wall Street Journal, then you're breaking the language. And it can be really fascinating. I still get tripped up on this, even with my aging self and trying to communicate with the public about language. Normal people think language is writing. Normal people don't understand that language is speech, and that speech is frankly more interesting than writing. So for them, what I'm doing right now is approximating something that really lives on the page. So for most people, texting, in being a highly abbreviated and flexible and colloquial form of language, because it's writing, they think of it as language itself. And so you get the frequent question, what is texting doing to language? And the real answer, I think, obviously to us, is texting is not doing anything to language because you don't speak it. Every now and then an acronym might creep in, but frankly, you know, who cares? But to most people, what they mean is the language is writing, and writing is being broken, and what are we going to do about that? And that's a legitimate way to think about it. So yes, we do need to give it a name. So for example, African American Vernacular English, I find that term very clumsy. I call it Black English. I'm going to call it that from now on. Black English before about 1996 was known to the general public as basically slang that black people use. Junk, essentially. After that controversy, if anything good came out of it, it was that ordinary people learned that it has a name. Unfortunately, the name was one that had been used for about 10 minutes in the 70s and discarded, but that name was Ebonics. Ever since it's been known as Ebonics, Black English has gotten a little bit less guff than it did before because people know that it's, at least by some people, considered some sort of system. So yeah, there does need to be a term like Textese because it'll put certain people at ease.